What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Hippo Supercoach, and today I'm going to be going over some of these mid-price guys, mainly Ben Keays, Elliot Yeo, and Nat Fyfe. I'm going to give you guys my take on them, whether they're good options, whether they're just blatant traps, and whether they're worth taking a punt on. So let's start with Ben Keays. Now, if you look at Ben Keays, the upside to him is quite insane. Like, we look at his stats from 2022 when he was playing that pure mid-roll, and we will get the CBAs up just to compare. All right, so close off some of these and let's have a look. So look at Keays' scores. I'll give you guys a second to look at that. Basically, if you want it read out, 128, 149, 113, 110, 106, 129, 103, 100, 106, 96, 114, 117, 68, 113, 124, 102. So let's compare that with his CBAs, right? So from 2022, Ben Keays' CBAs, 75, 75. Round 13, he had none. 20, 48, 52, 0 in those last 4 rounds, to which he went 90, 40, 66, 46. So this is where he started picking up the tagging role, and his role changed. Although he was getting CBAs still here, I believe he was tagging. So naturally, his score is going to go down if he's just playing on an opponent the whole time. Now, I think, obviously, he's a capable scorer if he plays a free midfield role. The only thing is, I think they're still planning on using him as their tagger. Now, if he does tag, he still could be an okay option. Like, we saw what he did last week, where he scored. What did he score last week? He scored 106 last week, and that was tagging, I think, a bit of Matt Rowell and a bit of Noah Anderson. So he's capable of turning up in a tagging role. The only thing with Ben Keays is, I think there's going to be games where he's going to tag those half-backers, like your Jack Sinclairs, Sard. We've already seen it with those two guys, so it could be a bit of a problem. And those games where he does tag the half-backs, he doesn't do very well. I mean, he did okay, 82, but then look, 45, 52, 49, 37. Like, there is a reason he's quite cheap, 369k, and he's dropped 180k this year. So, me personally, the upside's there. The role isn't just secure enough for me to jump on him. It does help that he has forward status, so you could take a punt, but this really does feel like a big gamble to me, and a lot has to go right for him to be a worthwhile pick. So I'd probably say no to Ben Keays at this point, but I can see why people are jumping on. Now I'll talk about Elliot Yeo. So Yeo's back into his mid-roll. He's had big CBAs the last 2 weeks, and he's gone 73 and 125. Seems like he's over that abductor injury, but at this point, I'm not willing to take a punt on Elliot Yeo. Now, the back injury is bad enough, but I'm just not sure about his soft tissues either. He's had calves, he's had hamstrings, I believe, so I'm not willing to take a punt on Elliot Yeo just because he is so injury prone. Sorry, not durable. He's the furthest thing from durable possible. So yeah, I won't be going near Elliot Yeo, but he is a decent option for that price if you really can't get anyone, but it just seems inevitable he will get hurt at some point this season. Playing in a CBA role, it's a more taxing role on his body than that half-back role, so yeah, if he's ever going to get hurt, it's in this role. So I probably wouldn't go near him, but I see why people are talking about him, like same with Keays. Now, let's talk about Fyfe. So this is probably the most interesting one out of all. So they are planning on playing him more midfield. And he was on 40 at quarter time, I believe. He had like 10 touches at quarter time. I personally see why people want him. Obviously, he's a gun. You only have to go back 2 years. And he was averaging, what did he average this year? 100.4, okay? So he is capable, and he was playing like a decent forward split here. Yeah, but I just don't think I could go with Fyfe. I would personally, if you look at his break even, it's 26. If he tons up once, right, he probably goes up like, what, 20k maybe? 30k at most. I'd rather just wait for that ton game. Maybe even 2 ton games. And say he's 300k. Let's just get a better sample size on Fyfe in this midfield role. Obviously, he got tactical subbed out in his second last game, which only made him score 49. So I think he played about half a game. So I can see why people are jumping on, but I just think he's another one. Like, if there's anyone that's going to get injured, it's Fyfe. Playing the midfield role, same with Yeo. It's more taxing on the body. He probably will get hurt at some point. And I think at this point of the season, I'm not willing to take a punt on any of these guys. They're just to me, they're just not durable enough. And I'll talk about my trades in a second, but yeah, you got to prepare. If you have more than 12 trades left, then taking a punt on one of these guys might not be the worst option. And if you really want to swing for the fences, I can see one maybe out of the three working out and not getting hurt. But the odds are against you if you're going off history. So yeah, that's where I stand. Now, in terms of my trades, I think I may as well talk about my trades every video I do because they change just about every day. At this point, I'm more leaning towards holding. And this is including holding Zeeble and Sheasel. And it's just because I don't know if I want to come out of the buys with 4 trades left. Ideally, I want to come out with 6 and be full primo. It might mean I have to keep Zeeble and Sheasel to do that. So I don't know if I'm in a position to get rid of them, and I know right now it seems like I am, but I'd rather just wait and see with Zeeble, with Sheasel. Look, if they lose another 50k each, it is what it is. I can't do much about that, but at least wait till they're bye, just see how the role's looking. I know for Zeeble it's not looking great. He's playing more lockdown, but I do know he still can get cheap touches on the back line there. It just might not be as much intercept as what we saw in the past, but I feel like he wasn't taking like a heap of intercept marks anyway. It was just a lot of cheap touches and kick-ins. So obviously Aaron Hall has affected him. But yeah, at this point, I think I'm going to hold at least until he's bye. It just helps have that bye cover. And like if he doesn't kick those 3 out on the full kick-ins, he probably goes 80, which isn't the worst score. And I think because they were all in the 4th quarter, they probably would have hit his score pretty hard with scaling just because of the clutch factor and whatnot. It was a close game. So yeah, look, I'm making excuses for Zeeble, and it's not something I want to do, but look, for people to say he's too old and he's washed up, I think it's a bit far-fetched because, a couple of weeks ago he did drop a 180. So, he can't age that much in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I think I'm going to hold at this point. Obviously, teams tonight will be very interesting. Hoping for Aaron Hall to be dropped. Hoping for Brett Ratton to be dropped, even though I do like him. Yeah, it's a real tricky situation. But yeah, I can see why you trade Sheasel and Zeeble, and I did talk about that in the last video, and I think it's a great option to trade them, but I just think it depends on your trade, your team situation. Do you have enough trades to get full primo? Because my logic is, I think I was watching that Swordplay podcast with DR, and I was like, I think they brought up something like there's still 9 rounds after the bye rounds, or still 9 rounds to go or something. So yeah, so we're at round 13 and it goes to round 24. So there is still 9 rounds after the bye rounds. Are you happy coming out of those bye rounds with 4 or less trades? That's the question you've got to ask yourself, because I'm not. In those 9 rounds, especially with the way this season's been, it seems like we're going to get an injury somewhere. And I'm not willing to run out of trades in that last little bit. And remember, it is a marathon, not a sprint. Teams with trades in those last few rounds are going to get a big jump, because a lot of these guys up the top right now are going to run out. So yeah, that's my logic with it. Look, I don't want to keep Zeeble. In a perfect world, I'd trade him, Sheasel, Cogs, Walsh, Neil, Steele, Sinclair. Half the team would be gone. But yeah, at this point, I just can't afford to do that. And I might even consider keeping Humphrey at F6 for quite some time. Matthew Johnson will turn into Clayton Oliver. It doesn't mean I miss out on DCAM, but you know what? I think trades are absolute gold at this point. So yeah, that's how I view those mid prices. It's turned into kind of more of like a trade video, really. But yeah, that's my take on the mid prices. It's just very risky. I think to summarize, if you have more than 12 trades left, then jump on. If you're confident in one, otherwise it's probably not. You're probably not in a position to do so. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to like and subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you. I'll probably do a teams video tonight. So yeah, have a good day anyway, everyone.